Hello. Want to join the chat? Hello, Miss Gail. How you doing today? Go wait, see if we get a few people in here. It's raining right now, so I can't get much done. Figured I'd do a live stream, talk about if anybody has questions about the raised bed or the greenhouse, the hydroponic greenhouse, or if we want to make fun of Lil John and Team It Won't Grow and all that. Well, that's good. Something in my beard. What you planting? Team Wilted Woodchucks. You're not on Team It Will It Grow? Oh, nice. We got some mammoth sunflowers. We bought some seeds for to plant, and then we have our regular sunflowers that we had last year. We also have some colorful sunflowers that we bought some seeds at the end of the year we're going to throw in, but it's just too wet right now to get the tiller where we want to plant. Very sorry to hear that you're on Team It Won't Grow. Y'all do y'all best, and we're going to have fun. Man, you can hear that. They got a DJ set up at the school. They got a big activity going on for all the classes and stuff. I can hear him over here. I don't know if y'all picking that up or not. Hey, Mr. Robert, thank you. Thank you. Not a whole bunch. It's raining outside, so I figured I'd start this. See if anybody comes in and want to visit. Anybody got questions about the raised beds or the greenhouse or anything? Make fun of Lil Johnny, his whining he did in his last video. What's up, Broke Farmer? How's it going, brother? Peanut, what's up? Anybody wants to join, y'all are more than welcome. Here's the link. Canadian Proud, get outdoors. Everything's going good. Mr. Robert, we're looking at, today was supposed to be up in the 80, right at 80, 81 degrees for the high and 38, 39 in the morning, but it kind of pushed off to, it's going to be about 44, 45 from 80 to 44, 45. And then we're going to be, tomorrow we're going to be, they're predicting between 38 and 40 again for the low. And that should be it. It shouldn't affect anything. How you doing, Mr. Bill? Little White Dory? Grow that. Yep, let's grow that. Let's visit. Talk about it. I was working outside this morning. I actually made me some tension for the raised beds. I'm hanging where the tomatoes are going to be, a cable across the top to be able to to be able to hang the tomahawks from. I'm going to single stem them all in the raised beds. I took some all threads at 18 inches, drilled a hole, passed my cable through, put a nut on the outside and a pull. I'll do a video later, but it seemed to work really well. I was kind of worried about it, and I'll have probably 2 feet of slack to be able to pull out of it. So that's what I was doing earlier until the rain got me. The raised beds actually picked up quite a bit the last few days. The cucumbers are still hurting a little bit, but I hit them with some fertilizer solution from the hydroponics, and everything really perked up when I did that. Still working on a system to be able to give them a little dose every day, but I need to get it tied up before my work starts up again. Britton Farms Homestead, how's it going, y'all? Ooh, the black eyed peas are falling over already. That's not good. You're having a lot of wind. We're getting a lot of wind right now. The greenhouse is really looking good. The plants, basically, we start off, we put the plants in and we put the solution, the ppms for the solution. I'm using the master blend. We start off with that somewhere around 200 to 250 ppm for the first week, and let it run basically for the first week. I was kicking it off and on for a half hour, off for a half hour the first week. When that was done, we went ahead and bumped it up to 500 to 600 ppm. It's not an exact science, and at 180 gallons, it doesn't make a huge difference. So between 500-600 ppm, and they did really well. So that's where they've been the last 2 weeks. I will put the link to join again. That's where they've been the last 2 weeks, and they're doing really good. It's almost time to clean out the tank. How's it going, Cosmic Chariot? After we clean out the tank, we're going to bump it up to 900 to 1,000 ppm until we start setting fruit. Once we start setting fruit on it, we'll bring it up to 11 to 1,200. It's kind of set up in stages. One thing I've never done with it before was actually take the time to clean out the tank. And from talking to Mr. CB and reading and stuff, the salts build up, and that could have been the issue that we were having later in the season with the plants starting to die. The salts were building up. So what we're going to do when we clean out the tank, we're going to put a full tank of fresh water, circulate it, and then we're going to put the fresh water out to the raised beds, and then we're going to put solution back in the tank. Let's see. Is everyone seeing the link? Anyone that would like to join is more than welcome. Have been watching a few more videos, been slowing down a little bit on the work, just been tired. So I have been catching up on some videos and trying to check everybody's stuff out. With Shed Wars, we got a lot of new people that I subscribe to, and it's it's really interesting seeing how everybody's doing it. I'm almost at the point, hopefully, soon I'll be done with the build and I'll be able to get back to watching a lot more YouTube. But I'm trying. I quit getting up in the morning at 3 o'clock and going outside and going to work. Now I get up and I watch my YouTube videos. Okay. How's it going, Mr. Bill?
Not too bad, Danny. How are you today?
Can't complain besides the rain.
I'm just trying to figure out how I can get this to set up best. I'm working on it.
Oh, no worries.
Hey, don't be showing off the Chrome Dome there. I got the channel now.
No, it's fuzzy. I only cut it once a month now. I used to keep it shaved.
Once a month, I don't have that problem.
I do. Oh, no, don't get me wrong. It's not enough, but I just cut it. Basically, when the wife tells me it's time to pass the clippers, I pass the clippers.
I'm trying to get the volume turned up here. I don't know why it's not so good. There we go.
Anybody have any questions about the raised beds or the greenhouses or anything like that? Fishing and work, man. I'm ready to go.
You got any questions about a crazy man with too many plants? basement.
That's amazing, Mr. Bill.
Them too. Yeah, if you see the roof of my basement here, I gotta get this. There we go. That's a little better.
How you doing, Miss Crystal? Good to see you. So how many plants you got started down there right now? You know offhand?
I know pretty much exactly.
Pretty much
around
exactly.
3,500.
Oh my! Wow.
3468 if you want to be technical.
Shoot. Okay, hold on one second. Chris, Master Blend is the part of the 3-part fertilizer solution I use for the hydroponics. They sell it on Amazon, and give me a second, I'll be able to tell you. I got it saved where I order it from. But I use Master Blend, calcium nitrate, and Epsom salt for the Master Blend ratio for the garlic was all I did was use the same thing for the tomatoes. It was actually everything I grew in the old greenhouse was all the same. Just changed the ppm on it. Try to getting it from try to keep it between 11 to 1200 once the tomatoes started. Once the flower everything started setting fruit. The garlic's actually still growing. It's been 3 years since I planted it, and it's actually still growing. When I go back to the property, Pop's still keeping it up. So I'm going to do a video. I guess some of the pieces fell off when I was pulling it out, or not sure what, but yeah, it's still growing. It's pretty cool. What I did in the other greenhouse, and I'll be doing the same thing over here, is I have a 250 tote that we mix solution in to top everything off. That way, if I'm not around or when I was at work, either Pop or my wife was able to go over there. If the 250 tote ran out, top it off and mix a new batch. And everything was on self waters with floats. It would, top itself off. It's a good thing as long as you don't have no leaks or any issues. If you have an issue, you'll push everything out. But it really did help with everything going on with with me not being around a whole bunch. Ms. Gill, you're still pretty early though for your garlic, even in Texas. So you have more seeds you're going to be starting, Mr. Bill?
Yeah. In all reality, I probably shouldn't have been starting until about now.
Right.
But I tell you, it's like a disease.
It's hard,
first, I mean, our last frost date here is technically April 25th to April 28th. So I'm ahead of schedule by a lot, but I was bored. So what the heck? I really was going to actually kind of scale back and go simpler, but that didn't happen. And, it's like shopping out of the Sears catalog. You want to buy stuff, you just start picking the seeds, and then all of a sudden you realize, wow, I got a lot of seeds I got to do something with.
And you got to try them all out.
Yeah. I probably have out of the 3,500, I probably have about 40 different varieties of tomatoes at this point.
Oh, wow.
And they're all really doing well. I mean, that's the funny part. As I'm bringing them outside, I mean, I'm out of space. I'm putting them on the floor, and they're so far away from the lights. It's like they might as well be in a closet.
Oh yeah, you were making fun of me about you were doing so much better with your starts than I was, and I was.
I didn't invest well, I guess I invested in the lights and the racks. That's true, but when you were building that little grow room, I thought to myself, that's not going to be big enough.
Well, that was actually to grow in. Hold on one second. What's up, Cajun Homesteader? Thanks for stopping by, brother. The grow tent actually, I mean, it did what we put it up for. We probably picked 10 pounds of tomatoes out of it through the wintertime. 10 or 15 cucumbers. The cucumber setup that we had, watering it, trying to keep everything watered like it needed to be, it didn't work out right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Bill went back in the day. He sure did. Most people would say Amazon nowadays.
What did I say? Right, Sears catalog. Okay, if that was Nixon National Geographic, that was practically pornography.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the day, that was. There wasn't no Sports Illustrated swimsuit editions. Oh, hey, Mr. CB, how's it going, brother? Yeah, I snuck on. It started raining. I came inside to eat lunch, and I figured, while it's drizzling and raining, I can't be outside. I'd jump on here. You're welcome to join. Anybody that wants to join on is welcome. Come on visit for a while till the rain stops. But yeah, we did well enough with the grow tent. With the tomatoes, we did better than expected. With the cucumbers, we'd probably have to put some type of hydroponic setup to where it self-waters and it gives the water that they want.
Right.
Trying to figure out how much water they need daily.
How did the tomatoes that you grew in the grow room there? How did they taste?
Wiped them out. We picked 3 pounds for the Shed Wars weigh-in Monday. They're gone.
They're good, huh?
I got 5 left to be able to save seeds from it. I didn't take them off of the plant because they were kind of ugly. They were starting to bust. So
what's got me laughing is last year, I started early last year as well, but I didn't start as many. And I had fruit on the plants down in the basement, and I also had flowers that were blooming before I even got them outside. Now this year, it doesn't look like anything's going to get there, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing different, but now I'm at a point where I got to get things outdoors, and I'm sitting here waiting because Thursday night into Friday we're supposed to get really cold again.
Right.
Then after that, it looks like I'm good. So I'm hoping that that'll be the time that I can get stuff outside and maybe only battle like 40 degrees instead of 32 degrees.
Right. 40 degrees is fine for me. I have no issues with it because at 40, we don't have a chance of frost at this time of year. Even 37, 38, we have very little chance of frost.
Right.
Cosmic Chariot, what exactly are you talking about? A drip system for cucumbers in the ground or in some type of buckets? Any type of drip system's worth it. Getting the water directly at the plants or, around the base of the roots is well worth it. It reduces the amount of time you need for watering. It reduces the waste. It reduces the grass because you're not watering spots that don't need to be watered. So you do reduce a lot. It is worth it. Some things to consider. Go ahead.
I think the only downside is if you've got high temperatures, whether it be in a greenhouse very, very hot or even, depending on your climate, if you've got really high temperatures, the above, watering is cooling for the plants. So that would be the reason why I would say, in addition to drip is always good. I don't think there's anything wrong with drip ever, but some plants to get the cooling down once in a while.
Here in Louisiana, we have bad powdery mildew issues. So if you're not working on some type of, plants that cucumbers that are, not beneficial for it, but that aren't
susceptible.
That are susceptible. You don't want a top water at all. So basically with everything, it's better to soak from the bottom. Right. I would actually run my water. It was 100 degrees in July, and we'd actually run the soaker hoses at noon on the ground, and it would help cool them off.
Sure.
But we do have bad issues. I can't stress it enough. Dasher 2 cucumbers are amazing. They're resistant to powdery mildew. I don't get any money from them, but they just keep producing and producing. They, I can't say the big word, but they make about 80% female flowers. They don't need to be pollinated. They taste really well. We did a 30-foot row last year. We ate all we wanted to eat. My older daughters and their boyfriends ate all they wanted. We gave to the neighbors, and we still sold for $300 in cucumbers at 50 cents a cucumber. So they just kept piling and piling and piling on.
Yeah, last year after my selling of seedlings was pretty much done, I don't know, at some point during that season of selling seedlings, the light bulb went on and said, I guess I should just, sell some vegetables too, since I'm already set up and people are, recognizing where my location is. And I didn't have a lot of cucumbers to sell, but virtually everybody that stopped wanted cucumbers. Yeah,
cucumbers and tomatoes are big around here. That's basically what's all in my raised beds in the back. We will be adding some extra beds at some point. Right this year, we're just going to plant in the ground to the left of it. We're going to put probably 3 or 4 more beds in. But You know, eggplant's kind of big around here, but it's kind of finicky. You know, if you got them, the people don't want them. When you don't have them, the people are begging for them. You know, different types of peppers. You know, people don't ask for them a whole bunch. You can give away all you want. You know, you're not going to sell many peppers. Jalapenos and banana peppers. You know, you can plant all you want. You have problems getting rid of it some years. Other years, you know, you don't have enough to share with your friends. My wife made friends with the lady that owns a nail salon place up the road. She's Asian, and she come over here and picked up 3 Walmart bags of banana peppers that we had last year on the plants, and asked for more.
I had a lot of people asking me if I had banana peppers, and I thought, I don't even know what a banana pepper is. So this year we have banana peppers.
It's good. It's a mild tasted pepper. It's yellow, kind of yellowish green.
Is it a hot pepper, or is it considered?
They can be hot. I don't like the hot ones. I'm not a fan of heat. Mr. CB's made fun of me quite a few times on the videos about it. We're gonna have a bell pepper eating contest, he said in one video, so I could participate. But
yeah, well, that's funny because until not too long ago, I didn't like peppers at all, and then someone kind of pulled a fast one on me. I was eating a bowl of chili and thinking, "Oh man, this is really good. I love the tomatoes you got on them." And she said, "A friend of mine says, there's no tomatoes in there. Those are peppers." I thought, really? Red peppers? Who knew? I didn't know. I thought I wouldn't like them, but I did.
Jeff grows a big variety of peppers, different types, and he's not a fan of really hot heat. Yeah, there's all kind of different varieties. Mr. CB grows a macaroon, which is similar to I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but he grows that, and it's similar to a bell pepper, but it's more longer than it is blocky. And I have a couple of those that made it. Hi, baby.
I think I got one of these in order to have the types of peppers I got. Yeah. I did mostly bells because I'm thinking that if I'm going to sell them, if I'm going to plant the plant and sell them, I probably will sell the bells easier than hot peppers.
Right. The macaroons is a delicacy dish. You know, it's supposed to be a higher quality. They cook with it. It has a little bit different flavor, almost a smoky texture flavor to it whenever it's cooked. So
yeah,
I did start a few of those, but the aphids got them bad. They're trying to make a comeback, but they've been planted for like 4 months and they're still about this tall. Every time, we fought them the whole time they were in the house. I got them outside now and they're doing great, but they're still way behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figure I've got probably about 15 different types, maybe 20 types of peppers. Got long sweet. I got sweet banana, orange sun, sun brights, California wonders,
California
sun, cardinal sweets, quattro de something or other, poblano, garden leader, pepperoncini, crispy hybrids, sun bright yellow. I got a bunch,
That's cool.
The peppers, I'll tell you, if I would have realized last year, my biggest mistake was I didn't start the peppers first. I started the tomato plants first.
Yeah.
This year I did start in my first batch. I started the peppers, and I can show you them. They're right behind me on the bench right there. Where we go? Oops. I don't know if they can be seen or not, but there's 3 trays of them right there. They're looking great. They're like in the basement. They're the temperature or whatever they did. They look really healthy. Now I got to get them transplanted. I'm going to start doing that Saturday.
They still in the small 6-packs?
Yeah. So we'll be transplanting those into. Well, I don't know. I have to think about this because what I originally started out doing was using the red Solo cup. That was the size pot, that I was using.
Right.
But I think some of these are already a little too big for that, so I'll probably go up to a bigger pot. And it's kind of one of these things where you screw up. And up is the word that's good because it'll go up in price if I put it in a bigger pot. So it's not too bad that I made the mistake and got them going so early, as long as they survive to get to the point where we're selling them.
Hey there, Wide Family Farm. How y'all doing? Chris, last year that was our best year for peppers and banana. Any type of pepper was the best year we've ever had. We did use 100% compost to be growing in, and it made a difference in everything we grew. Wasn't able to get the same type of compost we used this year that we got last year. So we're going to see the difference. I'm already seeing that I need to fertilize more with what I'm using.
Gotcha. Trying to get a better angle with that light.
That's fine. It's not the light; it's the reflection off your forehead.
I walked right into that one, just like I do other things hanging a little low when I'm tall.
I couldn't pass it up, brother. Man. Let's see, Tin Can Gardener. Yeah, you want to come up? Anyone wants to come up? I'll say it again. Anyone wants to come up, you're more than welcome. We're talking about Mr. Bill's, when he got started. We talked a little bit earlier about the hydroponic greenhouse, the raised beds. You have questions about any of them? I've done a couple videos showing what we have so far with it. I'll be doing an update tomorrow on the raised beds, what I've got done with it from last Thursday to now. It's not a huge difference as far as the mechanical part of it, but the plants have started looking a lot better. If you want to make fun of Team It Won't Grow, we're more than happy to get up here, and it can come from either team. I'm not just saying we can come up here and talk, make fun of It Won't Grow. If you want to come up here and, praise the woodchucks, you're welcome to do that also. But everybody's welcome. It's all in fun.
Maybe you could talk a little about the Shed Wars, Danny. I tried looking it up to see where I could find out more about it. Not that I want to participate, but I was just curious about it. Is there a website, or is there a best place to go to get a little background on what you guys all are doing or who's involved?
There is a website, and I'll text it to you when we get off of here. Basically, I mean, there's fun. If you want to participate in making fun of people that don't mind it, that's part of it. Like John is his channel's Will It Grow. He's a big baby. All he does is whine, but he's like the marshal or something. He points out his thing is when he gives shout outs, it's more of like he points his finger, he goes black and white, he puts his glasses on, and he kind of pokes fun at the people that he's giving a shout out to. Then at the end of the video, he's like, these are really good people. Go check them out. He caught a lot of flack for it at the beginning of throughout last year with people, just watching a little bit of the video and like, oh my God, you're a horrible person. So, I got to do a video because I've been called out by a couple of them. So I'll be doing a smackdown video.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, I have no idea why. I'm such a nice person. I mean, John makes fun of Jan. He calls her a leaky faucet. Well, he sounds like a squeaky door. Jan just talks. All he does is ring, all the time. Yeah. So okay, we're gonna bring up the Tin Can Gardener also. Go ahead, Mr. Bill.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I've seen a few other people now that have gotten the Shed Wars bug, and that I guess it's their first season. There's a girl up in Canada, and I think it's called Quebec Homestead.
Right.
I haven't watched her for a long time, but I just recently watched a few videos of hers, and I realized she's getting involved, and they're talking smack, but it's a lot of fun.
Is he gonna let me on here?
You're on, buddy.
Oh, Danny, we look normal now.
Mr. Brad, how's it going, brother? Hitting Orville's Grill Lights.
I've heard of carrot tops, but that's,
That's a pepper top.
Oh, it's a pepper. Yeah, it is. I see it now.
You there, man?
Move.
Guess Pepper's got his tongue.
I think it's freezing. Oh. Let's see. I'm gonna remove you, and I'm gonna repost the if you get some better service. But yeah, the thing with Shed Wars is just for people from all over the world. Basically, it's actually a northern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere has been going on for a while, growing, and they got they got 2 teams in the southern hemisphere. Let's see if we could try this again.
And there's only 2 teams in the northern hemisphere.
There's 2 teams in the northern hemisphere. There's about 50 people on each team. Let's see if we can get it back up, if it's gonna work. There you go. How's it going, brother?
He's going.
It's going.
That's my pepper. That's my pepper.
Oh yeah.
I got something for John. He ain't got a pepper like this.
No, John ain't got nothing. All John
It's
got
just
is
like
mad.
a beard warmer, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a beard. I just got a pepper. Old Jellyfish John got something coming to him. I'm not a hillbilly. I'm a hick. There's a big difference.
Well, he called me a redneck hillbilly. I'm like, dude, I'm a Cajun. I have no problem being called a Cajun. He's like,
Yep,
oh, no, you're not. You're a hillbilly, a redneck hillbilly. That's not the furthest. The furthest thing from what I could be is a hillbilly. You know, you can call me Canadian and I'm close.
It's an insult, plain and simple.
Yeah, and I don't take it as that. I don't take nothing he says serious.
Oh,
You know,
I know.
that's what he's. That's the point of it. He knows it's Cajun and he knows what everybody is, but he throws that out for everybody. You're a redneck hillbilly.
That's all right. He's a
So
jellyfish.
is there someplace you can go to see the results?
They're going to be tracking. Yes, on the Shed Wars website, they're going to be tracking the. They have a list of both teams. There's a list and a link to each each channel on YouTube for both teams. There's Team Willie Grow and Team Woodchuck. Woodcutter. I'm even making fun of our team. But yeah, it's
and
just
everybody has a YouTube channel that's a participant.
Yeah, everybody. Some have big channels, some have small channels. Some people grow on the balconies of their apartments. You know, some people have outdoor gardens. You know, like I have my greenhouse and the small raised bed set up.
Y'all can't take me seriously right now, can you?
Weighing everything that you produce during the year.
There's 6 months. It goes for 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. But yeah, the Shed Wars, it's, you know, and they ask that when you do a Shed Wars video and you hashtag it Shed Wars 21, that you give a gardening tip along with the video that you use. The requirements to be, you know, you have to do 12 videos and 12 tips throughout the growing season for your weight and everything to be able to count at the end. You know, if you do something wrong, John's going to get all heartbroken, come on there, point at you in black and white, and I'm going to cut you 50 pounds, you know, because we're losing. So I'm going to catch that up to help myself out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got all those people helping him too.
Yeah, they're probably not. You seen that video? They're probably not. He probably just made that up. That dude ain't got friends.
If you're not a member of one of the teams, what's the best way to be a spectator, to watch and see what's going on?
If you look,
obviously watching the channels, I guess.
Right, but you can also the easiest thing to do to see the most recent videos is when you go into YouTube in the search bar, do the hashtag Shed Wars 21 and click search, and it'll bring up, you know, the Shed Wars videos. Okay. Everyone that tagged the hashtag Shed Wars 21, that video is going to pop up in the list of videos. That's the easiest way to go about it. You know, subscribing to channels that you like that's doing the stuff. That's also another great way to where you can be notified.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was a specific channel or something you go to just sort of monitor how the results are coming in and
the Shed Wars website. I'm not sure how often they're going to update it, but there's judges they have, that people that volunteer to be judges that are going to go through each channel's weigh-ins and stuff. And and there should be a list on the website. I'm not sure if it's going to be updated weekly, 2 weeks, or, you know, it might be every couple of days for a while, then it might be once a week for a while. But it's going to be done like that. And you should be able to see a breakdown, I think, of each of the channels, what they produced. And
yeah, I'm interested in seeing how it all pans out and just learning more. Not too much of an interest in joining, but just really curious to be a spectator.
Yeah. Well, the joining right now is closed. It actually started up for us on the 23rd. The season started. So, you know, I'm sure there's going to be more people in it. I think what they had last year, you remember, like 17 people out on each team? There wasn't a draft last year.
I can.
Is it mine?
Okay.
Hey, Indiana Backyard Gardener. Wide family. We can bring one more up. Hello.
Hello. My internet might not work that great. Can you guys hear me okay?
Hear you fine. Let's see. Mr. Bill, Homestead, I'm sorry, yeah, Homestead Aquarius
I hear
subscribe.
Danny.
Arkansas wouldn't cut. Okay.
Arkansas Woodcolor, Wooded Grow, or Homestead Aquarius. Those are the three that started it.
Okay.
Can you guys hear Danny?
You're breaking up real bad, man. Let's see. The website. Can you hear us?
I'll be right.
You're breaking up. I don't know if it's my internet or not. Yeah, I mean it's really good, Mr. Bill. It's fun. Some people don't want to be involved in the picking and stuff like that, which is fine. I'm not gonna push myself out and no problem, wine family. Don't worry about it. If it speeds back up, you're welcome to come back on. Just we're visiting. I'm not gonna pick on. I've just been called out a couple times, so I want to catch that up. It's all fun. I enjoy doing that. I like making, playing with John. He calls me son, and I'm just gonna prove to him that I told him already. The son always is trying to push the daddy out, trying to be the king of the castle, and it just doesn't work out. The daddy always comes around and smacks the son up, and then the son goes sit in the corner and boudettes for a while. So, Jason, what's up, brother? But yeah, that's the biggest part of it. You added some more raised beds this year, Mr. Bill?
Well, I took 3 down last year to relocate them because I had this crazy idea I'd be building a greenhouse. And I haven't gotten, I just, I keep going back and forth. I don't know the first thing about growing in a greenhouse. So if I did get a greenhouse, it's not going to solve many problems for me. It's just going to create some because I don't really know what I'm doing. But what I really was kind of interested in was using it for like a, I don't know if I call it a grow room or just a heated space so that I can get my transplants out of the house into something that they can stand there and just, they don't have to be super comfortable, but just, kept from freezing and have a place that I can just say that they're not going to get destroyed.
Right.
So, and at this point, I didn't do that. So I have 3 frames that I'm going to probably lay back down and put in, fill them and get something growing in them. And now I'm thinking, I don't know if you've ever seen, they have these concrete bases that I guess it's like if you want to build a deck and you've got some pretty hard packed soil, you can use these things to be like pilings.
I got you.
You get them at Home Depot. They're, I don't know, about a foot square. And
right.
You can stick either a 4x4 on the top or even usually a 2-inch pipe. So I'm thinking, I have 4 of them laying around here for, I don't know why. I was thinking maybe I'll get a couple more of them, some PVC pipe, and see if I can set up some sort of a fencing system to keep Gumbo out, because that's my biggest problem right now. He's going to be tearing through that stuff like crazy if I leave it out.
Mr. CB, you funny. You getting you another greenhouse one of these days? Yeah, for your greenhouse, you basically use it as a nursery. With some heat, that would be good for you. It would work well. Jason, what type of trellis are you building? Are you copying me again, brother? The farming life, man. The weather is nice today. It's going to be gumbo weather tomorrow and the day after.
Gumbo weather?
Yeah, gumbo weather.
I don't know what that means.
We're going to be right at 40 degrees. It's almost going to be chilly, so we're going to be making gumbo. I got a rice and gravy I got to cook today, and and then I'm sure I'll be cooking gumbo tomorrow.
Use them squirrels you were feeding, right?
Yeah, I mean,
is that what you're going to do with them squirrels? You're going to make a
batch I wouldn't be able to let the kids be around because they'd be mad at me. Yeah, I mean, try this. Hello, you backed up.
This should be better.
Okay.
Hello.
Miss CB, you better watch. Miss Renee's the boss. We know that.
So how y'all doing? Good?
Yeah, I was working outside and it started raining, so we came in and started messing around with this. working on the raised beds in the backyard, I finished running my cable across the top to hang my strings for the tomahawks for my tomatoes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I got to go untangle them. The box of tomahawks comes like 350 tomato tomahawks in a box, and you got to take them apart really slow. And my stepdad picked up the box and the bottom fell out. They're all knotted. So
That sucks.
it took me 4 hours 2 weeks ago to pick 60 of them apart. I finally just started cutting the pieces off of it that were knotted to where I can use them.
Yeah. We're starting to get about a cold weather here the next 3 nights. It's going to be in the 20s. So I had to pull everything in and cover I already have stuff in the ground. I have peas in the ground. So I got to cover them. They're frost hardy, but still.
Yeah.
Got to make sure that they're going to be okay.
Seems like everybody's dealing with a cold snap coming through the next couple of days. But I don't feel so bad when I hear about a guy down in Louisiana going to have to worry about a cold snap. Makes me feel a little better about mine.
And as long as it stays about where it's at and it doesn't drop another 3 degrees, I'm not going to be worried. As long as we stay at the 38 to 40 degree range, I'm not going to be worried at all.
Right.
If they're calling anything lower than 37, I'm going to have to get some old plastic out and start covering tomatoes. And I just don't want to take that much of a chance with
That's when the Goodwill comes in handy. You can go buy sheets and everything else there too,
where my raised beds are, I had 2 greenhouses back there, and I took all the plastic and I just stuffed them in an old tote I had. I was going to throw them away at some point, and I forgot about them.
Yeah.
Till I needed the tote this week, and I took it out, and I was talking to one of my friends over here, and he's like, "Man, if it gets cold, you could throw that over." And I'm like, "Well, you make sense," I wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah, it's going to work well. So. And just to keep the frost, if we're going to get the frost, my tomatoes and cucumbers were struggling a lot in the beginning with that new soil, trying to get a feeding pattern on it. They call it a soil builder. It's not a compost. It's a soil builder that a lot of pine fines, some rice chaff, and some sand mixed in. So it was to figure. I didn't want to over fertilize at the beginning, and it cost me about 2 weeks of really good growth, but kind of have it dialed. It looks like it's dialed in now. The plants are really starting to look better.
Oh, that's good.
Tomatoes are taking off. The cucumbers are starting to show a difference. I was watering way too much also with it. It holds a lot more. The water just passes through, but it does hold a lot of water. It's kind of crazy what it does. I thought
usually cucumbers, they take about like in the summer here, they take about a gallon of water a day.
But they were just getting started. So
yeah.
They were little bitty, so they were hurting with too much water in it.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a lot of water. If everything kicks off like they say a gallon of water a day per cucumber you have on the vine, and I have 200 feet of cucumbers planted, so it's going to be.
When they get mature, you just let the hose run.
Yeah, it's just all day long. It's like, oh my! I've actually been going to the property to pick up water because the water in town, especially for the greenhouse, I have to adjust the pH if I'm using it. If I pick it up from the property, from the water well, there's no adjustment needed. So it saves me $30-$40 a month on a pH adjustment. But it also saves me every gallon of water I use over here, I have to pay for sewage disposal, whether I use it in the yard or not. Or I have to pay the $1,500 to put a separate meter to be able to run my plants and everything off of.
You say because you have the greenhouses?
Wait, say again?
Because you have greenhouses, you have to.
No, that's just the way it's set up. There's after one of the hurricanes, the town received a grant because the sewage backed up. So they received a grant to be able to put a sewage plant, and they built the sewage plant. Now they have to charge for the maintenance and the upkeep of the sewage plant and the people working in it. So it's nice. You don't get that sewage smell. It's set up. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Before, the sewage would it was going to a place, but it's like it would stay stagnant, and you'd get smells of it in the summertime, and it really works well. So
I have a huge tote that I use that I collect rainwater with, but it wouldn't be enough. Like I would run that thing out watering my cucumbers in the summer.
Exactly. I watered my raised beds yesterday, 250 feet, or day before yesterday, and I used it I'd mix some hydroponic fertilizer in the tank, and it
Oh,
took
that's
me
a good idea.
50 or 75 gallons to do all 6 rows. Lions Crest, how's it going, brother? Glad to see you.
I just caught word that we're going to have a major change in the way they bill us for water here on Long Island, which is kind of funny because up until now, I've never heard anybody talk about water shortages or anything like that on Long Island. We're a really bizarre place where a huge sandbar. So whenever we flush our toilets, it goes right down through the sandbar. You go
Right.
down deep enough, and then they bring it back up and put it in your faucet again. But I guess that they got into a point where they realized they could make money selling water more so than just being a public service. They're looking to make money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's going to put a clamp on a lot of families here that have, let's say, a couple of kids and get more water usage than an average house, because that's apparently how they're going to do it. When you hit a certain point, after that point, it's going to get expensive.
That's horrible.
My water bill, but the water in the sewage is actually running more now than my electric bill is.
No way.
Yeah, my water bill is running somewhere around $110 a month for the water and the sewage, as opposed to my electric. Now it's wintertime, so I'm not using the electricity like I will during the summertime. But my electric bill is running about $80-90 a month. But on top of that, the town charges basically if my electric bill is $100, the town charges another $100 for the upkeep of the electrical infrastructure and paying the people and everything like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, the best thing I ever did, I put a new air conditioner in when I came back from Ohio, a central unit, and it actually cut my town bill from about $600 a month. And that was running the air conditioner about 80, 85 degrees to we run it at 70 to 72. And, my town bill runs about $210, $220 a month normally.
Wow. Well, I guess that's the difference. You're not paying it in taxes, you're paying it in a bill. Okay.
Right. Well, what really sucks is the town is this big. The town's big, as far as the acreage of the town. But the only people everybody that's considered in town have they have the fire department. They have the police department. They have all of the infrastructure
Services.
that goes along with the town. But only a small portion of the town has the electrical. About a little bit more than half of the town has the electrical. And every year around summertime, when the electric bills start creeping up because of the heat, the same thing starts, and people start crying and complaining again about it. So it's a weird situation, but
yeah, we dodged a bullet here on Long Island. We had the infamous Shoreham nuclear plant that never went online. Well, it did go online. That's the crazier part. They turned it on just to see if it worked. Then they shut it off. So we now have a permanent nuclear power plant here on Long Island. It's not doing us any good. But that was supposed to be the solution to the additional needs for electricity. But they dodged a bullet when LED light. Well, first it was fluorescent lighting and then LED lighting. When so many things started just getting so much more efficient,
right.
They literally were able to keep up with demand by just getting efficiencies up. And they made big incentives for us to do things like that. But
wow.
Yeah, it was kind of, and the nuclear plant is still sitting there just collecting dust. It's kind of bizarre.
A lot of money just
Yeah,
sitting.
what a waste. The nuclear plants are not cheap. Like that's not.
And this was probably one of the most expensive ones because, I tell Danny, I live on an island with 7.5 million crazy people, and nobody wanted it. The people that own the utility company said they had no choice, and I kind of understand why they would think that, but it just made no sense. And it was fought, and finally they got it to the point where it wasn't going to ever open. But the geniuses that built it just boggles my mind that they would actually ever start it, because once you start it, you got a permanent monument.
Yeah.
And
right.
They did. They started it up, looked at it, and then shut it down. And now it's how many hundreds of years it'll be a nuclear waste site.
Yeah. In the comments on the side, they're talking about different people, with the cisterns and water barrels and everything, and looks different. Like Jason says, their water price is pretty reasonable. We are planning on putting gutters on the house to where we can also catch rainwater, but that's a lot of trips to the country right now. To put gutters on the house is probably going to cost me about $2,000, as opposed to maybe $5 round trip in gas to go pick up 500-600 gallons of water. But there's benefits to putting the gutters. We're just we're holding off right now because we have some work we want to do on the outside of the house. that we would have to take the gutters down. So
Do you have a noticeable wet season and dry season down there?
it's always wet.
You have rain almost all year then.
Yeah, it's either wet or it's dry during the summertime. And you know, that's back to the raised beds. Why I went with the compost instead of a compost dirt mixture during the summertime. Being as close to the Gulf as we are, we're like 3 miles from the Vermilion Bay, and then another 4 miles after that, 5 miles after that, you're basically in the Gulf of Mexico.
Right.
So we get a lot of storms that come in off of the Gulf during the summertime because of the heat and the
Just the change of temperature every day. Yeah.
Right. It'll pull in the afternoon and dump gallons of water. And the issue I was having with my tomatoes is, normally that happens when the tomatoes are setting fruit, and you either kill your plants because they can't drain out, or your plants are picking up too much and your tomatoes are exploding.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for stopping by, Mr. CB. Have a great
Here we have a huge water issue. Well, I own a house in a city as well. And in the city, the EPA sued the water company because it wasn't running up to par. So everybody's water bill in the city tripled. And we used to get by with a $30 water bill, and now it's like $150 a month. It's like insane. And then here where I live now in the country, you're not allowed to have rain barrels. Yeah, or they will come down on you there. So, and it's no joke. They will
What country was this?
Your property and check and see if you have rain barrels, and then they will charge you or fine you for it.
Where is
they do that because you're preventing the water from making it to the aquifer. You're not sharing yours with everyone else. And there's some videos on YouTube about how illegal that is and how easy it is to get out from under it, because you own the airspace over your home up to a certain point. So they can't stop you from collecting the rainwater, but the amount of money it takes to fight it, is ridiculous. And it just causes issues. Over here, when I drilled my water well, I didn't drill my water well. I'm sorry. We repurposed an old water well, because if you drill a water well, you have to go through the state and you have to get permits, and they you have to sign a paper actually that at some point, if they decide to water meter your water well, that you're going to be able to, that you're giving them permission, or they won't give you permission to drill the well. So we had a smaller well that was on the property already, and the guy came out on the weekend and opened the water well up to be able to put a 4-inch casing in and run a 2-inch pump.
Wow. I know around here you can, with an auger hole digger, you can go down to probably about 12 feet and you'll hit water here. And so it's easy to get water. It's just not
where my house is right here. Where the house is right here, it's fresh water, but you never know. You go down 6-8 feet and you're in the water, because I'm on the bayou. The water table's partially underneath the bayou, but you never know what's going to be in it at 6 foot, because of it's in the bayou. The bayou is full of drainage from the crawfish ponds and all the there's an outrageous amount of sugarcane fields that drain out.
The water's not safe to drink or anything.
No, I wouldn't. No, we don't. If we don't catch many fish in it right here, but even if we would, when we do catch fish, we release them back in, because the chemicals and everything from the fields that's a main drainage where it goes out.
That's horrible.
Courtney, I'm assuming your name is Courtney, but Courtney, yep. Where are you located that you have?
I'm in Northeast Ohio.
In Ohio.
Yep.
It's like boggles my mind that they would keep you from having rain barrels.
Oh yeah. Oh, and if you build something on the property too, that displaces water, so they'll tax you on it.
I just can't comprehend that. That's amazing.
It's nuts.
Dude, in Ohio, they tax you yearly on the value of your car.
Yeah.
I went up, we pay $20 a year for the sticker, or $40 for 2 years, whatever, for the inspection. Well, I bought a car in Ohio and I went to register it when we were living up there. And the lady's like, well, it's going to be, the taxes is like $2,100 or something like that. I'm like, okay. And she said, next year is going to be $1,700 because it goes. I said, what you mean next year is going to be $1,700? She's like, yeah, well, so she explained to me how it works. I'm like, I promise you it ain't going to be next year. So the first time we drove back from Ohio to Louisiana, I brought the paperwork, everything, and I changed it from Ohio to Louisiana. I wouldn't
Yeah.
leave the license plate over there.
Well, I lived in Kentucky for a while, and you only pay in Kentucky, you pay the tax portion of your car, but you only have to pay it like every couple years. It's not like, but here you have to pay that every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have every 2 years, but effectively an annual. About $100 for an average car around here.
I think ours in Louisiana, it doesn't look as bad because they charge it on the gas. Every gallon of gas you buy, that's where they get their road fees and everything for the maintenance. And you can tell they don't use it for it, but
Yeah.
that's what they do. There's a tax.
Yeah, they're supposed to do that here too. But
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
I will give you this: in Ohio, the roads are 1,000% better than they are in Louisiana. You get out there as soon as the temperature's right for them to be working on roads. You got people working all over on roads over there. Over here, it's they build the road and they leave it. Then they go back and they fill it in with pothole filler.
wow.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
But I try not to buy new vehicles because they just beat them up.
Wow. That's true on the interstates too.
The interstates are kept up a little bit better because there's federal money that goes to it.
Yeah.
And I think they're built better. But the state highways and actually the state's actually resurfacing, thousands of miles of road right now and turning it over to the parish because they just can't afford to keep up with the maintenance on it. And there's different laws. Like if you get in a wreck on a state highway by yourself and it's deemed that it's because the road was, the quality of the road wasn't good enough and that's what caused the wreck, you can sue the state. But if it belongs to the parish and the parish can't keep up with, you can't sue the parish. So the state's getting rid of a lot of the rural roads that they maintain to not to be able to get sued. But I mean, you got idiots. It's a 25-mile-an-hour road that's falling apart, and you're doing 100 miles an hour on it. It's common sense. Mitigates a lot of the issues you'd have, but a lot of people don't have the common sense.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing how when you break down what people pay, different amounts that people pay for things in different places in the country, it starts to become a lot less, extreme differences. I mean, I was saying to you that I pay about just over $9,000 a year in property taxes.
Right.
But I don't pay a sewage tax. I have a hole in the ground. We just keep dumping it into the hole in the ground, and then it's a mystery what happens.
Well, if I lived in a country where the property and everything is, you put in a septic system, which is about $3,500 to $5,000, depending on the square footage of your house. And
actually, last year they made us switch over. Now, if you have a system, you can leave it, but you can't put in a new system without a septic tank. Here we have just cesspools.
Oh wow!
Because again, we're just a big sandbar. You don't need.
Oh, y'all are behind times. We've been like that for the last 25 years.
Well, they're doing it now because somebody figured out you can make money off of the sludge. There's something to be made from it. So,
in Ohio, I was talking to one of the farmers. They actually go to the processing plants where the human waste comes in, and people will buy the solids from it, put it out, and have it broken down, and they sell it to farmers to spread in the field.
We've been doing here for a long time.
Yeah. Well, my dad owned my dad for 50 years owned a septic business, and that's what they would do is they would pump and then lay on fields.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll get you for that too. You got to be careful.
It has to be composted. There's different things. The bacteria and stuff has to be tested before. Hey, Roots, Shoots, and Garden Boots, how you doing today? Yeah, I mean it was a culture shock for me going over there to see the different ways. I've been to Texas a few times, gone to Astroworld, been to Florida, visit family, but living up there and seeing how things are done, it's. People say the cost of living is high in New York, but most of the time the jobs pay a lot more than what they would down here. The cost of living, I'm not gonna say it's equal everywhere, but the cost of living normally equates out. If you can make this much money, the cost of living is gonna be the same. Your gallon of meat could be $7, $8 somewhere, is where your cost of living is a little bit higher, but your pay is higher most of the time, and it all works out.
Yeah,
But
it's I guess a matter of for me, I look at it and think to myself, there's just too many people here. That's the biggest reason why I want to get out of here. Too many people too close together. But I realize that when I go someplace else, I'm sure I'm going to find there's something else that's going to drive me nuts,
Well, I always thought living in town would kill me. I didn't live in, I could 2 steps, 3 steps, and I'm in my neighbor's yard.
Yeah.
my driveway basically separates my yard from my neighbors.
Yeah.
I went to school with the guy, great dude. So I don't have no issues with that. My little boy runs over there all the time, bring him vegetables, and we talk and stuff. I guess I'm lucky enough to have some the neighbors in the back are young. They're about to get married. We don't see them hardly. Wave.
So what you're saying is they only talk about you.
It doesn't matter. Hey, anybody that wants to talk about me, they can talk about me. It don't hurt my feelings. I got over that a long time ago when I got divorced from my first wife. You want to say, hey, tell me so we can vote? No, I'm not going to try to tell you any different because you got your mind made up if you're going to talk to me. So tell me so we can vote no, and I'll agree to it. That's how I am now. Yep, that's what happened. I don't care. But no, it's not that we don't talk to each other or anything like that. It's just the ones in the back, the guy's a hunter and a fisher. When it's not hunting season, he's fishing. Off his fish, last year we were picking so much vegetables, we bring them over to him. Colt loved it. You give him a bag of stuff, he'd run over there, knock on the door, haul ass back. He wouldn't stay to tell him hi. Knock very loud, he'd come running back. Same thing in the neighbors in the front. So, it just, I like that. I don't like somebody that's going to always be over visiting. And I like to be by myself. I like to be by my wife, with my wife and the kids, in the afternoons talking and doing our thing. It's, I don't know. That's not how I was raised. That's what I enjoy now. We go eat out once a month as a family. You try to get my older daughters to come with us.
Whether they want to or not, right?
No, they won't come if they don't want. But you say sushi, and it's like, hell yeah, we going, and this $300 sushi bill is like, oh my god.
Oh god.
Well, I mean, it's not just my two daughters no more. The two daughters, they're 21 and 25, so they bring their boyfriends with them, and their boyfriends, it's so that ends up being 8 of us when we go. So it sounds like a lot, but it's not really horrible when you think of it. They used to have some sushi bars that were they didn't stay open long. All you can eat sushi. They don't make a.
Yeah, we have a lot of all you can eat Chinese buffets around here.
Yeah.
And I always think they're never ever even remotely close to as good as the small takeout kitchens. And we have takeout kitchens on every corner practically.
Right.
And I always think, who are the people that eat that stuff and think it's good? Because every time I've been there, it's just not the same.
Oh, I can't eat a Chinese buffet. I'd be in big trouble.
Hey,
But
you get used to. It's an acquired taste. We don't. We had one place when I was younger that was open. I mean, the building, it was takeout only. You walk, you wouldn't even go inside. There was a door they'd open and pass it to you, almost like a food truck. And the building couldn't have been no bigger than 12 by 14. But the most amazing food. And then when they closed down, the only thing we had was it's Hainam is called. That's all they had. It's a buffet, but you get used to eating it. It's actually pretty good until you go eat somewhere that you order regular.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm not allergic to MSG, but I have to really be careful.
I'm allergic to it. I can't get enough.
Yeah,
I don't get
a funny MSG story. The other day I made I call it a London broil with steak on the grill, and I put Nunus, the spice you got me, Nunus, right? And I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing stuff. So the next day I have leftover, and I'm figuring, all right, let me make some soup. And I figured, well, I'll add a little flavor to the soup. And I put probably about a tablespoon of Nunus into it, and, mixed everything up. And when I went to eat it, it was like so salty, super salty. And I thought, wow, I really like salt, but this is even more than I can handle. So I looked at the ingredients. The first ingredient was salt. The second was MSG. And I thought, well, that explains the saltiness.
And with the Nunus and stuff, you got to shake it before you use it, especially once you get down about halfway, because the different ingredients in it will settle out at different points. Yeah. When just shaking.
What is that? Is it like a soy sauce or what? Like what is
it? Local seasonal that
dry seasoning.
Oh, okay.
A rub.
A rub seasonal. We use it. I like it on everything, but if I use a roux, I like Tony Chachere's. If I'm cooking anything else, I like Nunus. The flavor that Tony Chachere's gives a roux, that's what puts it over the top for me. It doesn't have the same flavor with Nunus. But everything else, I use Nunus. If I'm cooking meat, like Mr. Bill just said, I actually take Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce, and teriyaki sauce, and mix up a third. Well, basically a third. Mix it up. I have a bottle, and then we spread it on top. Let it set for 5 minutes, and the meat will suck it right up. And then I season it and grill it like that, and it's really
Is that
good.
how you get the squirrel meat to taste good? Yeah.
No, you just get the squirrel meat because it's fresh. You're feeding them peanuts. They like that. Organically grown squirrel. The peanuts we were feeding them yesterday was organic.
I grew up in a house where my dad had a vendetta against squirrels. And so my entire childhood, we always had squirrel traps set out in the backyard to get rid of them. He hated them.
I'm starting to think I'm having squirrels digging up in the raised beds, and it's not cats or possums right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'm gonna have to
I had that problem until I got the dog. Now we don't have that problem anymore.
That's what I need to do is put the dogs in the backyard. I'm gonna get some. I got some game cameras at the property I need to pick up. See if I can catch what it is. They're not digging up the plants, which is good. They're digging like between the sets of plants.
Yeah, looking for nuts.
There probably are. It could be the squirrels. It could be possums looking for roots.
You ever hear the saying that even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while? Well,
Exactly.
This is the one that's looking.
Well, they found a good pile for it to possibly be there. They might be actually burying some nuts in there.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I got to figure out what's. I don't want it, whatever it is, to start digging up the plants at some point. The tomato plants are on average about 8 to 13 inches tall, and they're starting to put out their second sets of flowers on some of them. It shouldn't be too long. Jason says Tony's is pretty good. Tony's is good. Until I had New News, Tony's was my go-to on everything. But New News just has something slightly different.
Yeah.
And then there's Slap Your Mama. That one I like too. I
Slap
like
Your
all
Mama.
of them. I like them all.
I like them all. Don't get me wrong. I like them all. But I like things to taste the same. When I find it, I like it to taste the same. And with the New News, it seems a lot easier to get the same flavor every time I cook with it. The Slap Your Mama, sometimes it just seems hotter than other times the same.
Yeah, I'd say that's true, but I always just attribute that to a heavy hand when I'm putting on the seasoning.
You don't have a heavy hand if you still have some seasoning left over.
Yeah, that's probably true, right?
We go through probably 4 to 5 bottles a year of Tony Sasher, or the tubs of it.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Sasheries. We don't use cayenne pepper or anything like that. It's just so much easier. You pull out the season all you want, sprinkle it.
Right.
I never add salt to it. Depending on what it is, I add a little bit of lemon pepper and garlic granules. That's the extent of it.
Well, I'll tell you, honestly, Danny, since you sent that to me, and I don't even know how long ago that is, it's hardly been a day when I've cooked a steak without putting at least one of those lasers on it. It's just really that good. But I have a lot. You sent me quite a bit.
It's been a while. I mean, that was from 100 subscriber giveave, I think it was.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Back when you were paying to have friends. That's right.
That's it. I've been supposed to send it out. I got a pile of stuff I need to send out for the 1,000 subscriber. I got 5 things I got to send out.
Well, I'm looking at the clock and I've got to head out. I have to go help somebody build a chicken coop before it rains.
Are you still working on that?
Yeah, someone I know wanted chickens, so I said, "All right, I'll help you."
The kids are starting to help a little bit more.
Not at all.
No.
They don't even sit around and watch.
All right.
I was out there yesterday for 3 hours, and they have a trampoline, and the 2 kids sat on the trampoline. Didn't even bounce on it. They're just sitting on it the whole time. Far enough away they couldn't even see what I was doing. But I was like, well, one of them came over for a while, and I gave her the circular saw and how to cut wood for me. So they had fun.
That's nice. I can't start anything without Colt helping. I mean, get the nail gun out, the drill. I got my whole 18-volt DeWalt drills. I'll put a drill bit on the end of it. And he just goes in the yard. What you doing? I'm building crawfish hotels. He drills the holes in the ground so the crawfish can go in there.
That's
nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
I want my son to be like that.
He'll burn every battery we got, in a couple of hours, just drilling holes.
I definitely can relate to being a kid growing up, and the best thing you could have given me was a pack of batteries for something, because I always needed them.
Everybody wants to give what kind of toys he wants. I'm like, honestly, you give him a box he could fit in, the dude's happy for like 2 weeks till he can't color no more inside the box. He gets inside the box, he'll grab him a little light, close the box. So you close the box up and He starts drawing. I'm like, "What you doing in there?" "I'm making cave drawings."
That's
you know,
funny.
so he loves.
Well, enjoy that while you can, because pretty soon it'll become more and more expensive, his toys. And
Hey.
then he'll want your toys.
Well, he
And
already
then you
wants.
will want his toys.
That's why I give him the 18 volt. The old 18 volt DeWalt drills. The batteries are almost no more good. So I take that and I let him use it, and we'll charge it. If he breaks it or drops it in the bayou or something like that, it's not a big loss. And he's totally pumped up because that was my daddy's. That was my stepdad goes to grab it. "No, that was my daddy's. You can't play with that, Pop. Only I can." No, he gave it to me.
All right. Well, it's fun talking to you guys, and we will talk again someday.
Good talking to you, man. Have a good one.
It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Courtney.
See you later. Courtney, what else y'all have growing over there? I know you said your peas.
Yeah, we got the peas in the ground. I almost killed my Brussels sprouts because I had them out there and it was way too cold for them. But they're coming back. But I have a feeling when they come back, they're going to be not so good.
I don't mean cutting you off, but Brussels sprouts, I've never grown that before. Is that like a warm weather, spring weather, or?
It's supposed to be a cold weather crop.
Okay,
like
well.
cabbage, but I think I got it a little too cold. So I don't know. The leaves turned white, fell off, and now I got more growing on it. So I don't really know what exactly happened to it. I don't know if it got sunburnt or what, but they're starting to come back. But my peas are just doing absolutely wonderful out there. I got so much stuff planted. All different kinds of herbs. I got trays of tomato, beefsteak, Kellogg's breakfast, Cherokee purple, Abe Lincoln, Amish paste. I got all this growing. Yeah. Can't wait to put them in the ground. Last year, my husband's tomato plants were about 12 foot tall.
Wow.
Yeah.
I honestly, when I was in Ohio, I loved looking at the people's gardens. It's like the climate, even when it's 100 degrees, it's not humid, so it's not horrible. If you're from South Louisiana and you go up there, it's not horrible for us at all. The people up there were complaining about the temp, the heat and the humidity. But as far as with the growing temperatures, like over here, when it's 100 degrees, it's so humid that the flowers won't pollinate on the tomatoes.
Yeah.
So, up there, it's like it's 100 degrees. The tomatoes still look beautiful and green. There's no bug pressure. It's like, man, they got it made up there. I'd go to my friend's house and be like, "Here, take some tomatoes." I'm like, "Oh, okay." It was amazing. I never turned it down.
Yeah, we always had tomatoes. I know you guys you have trouble growing tomatoes down there because of the humidity, right?
The heat and the humidity, yes.
Yeah.
What happens is we end up with let me turn this off 1 second. We end up with the heat and humidity, and the pollen in the flowers stick, so they don't make they won't pollinate often. And kind of, with my raised beds and the greenhouse, what I'm looking at doing now is around July, whenever July and August, we're really hot over here. So I'm looking to kind of transition from the plants I have planted right now into the fall plants, getting them out in the ground sometimes around the end of July. That way the plants will still grow with the heat, with shade off, and the plants will still grow. And then about the time that it starts cooling off enough for the plants to start pollinating again in the fall, I'll be able to start getting some tomatoes from it.
Yeah.
So we're going to break it up into 2 seasons. Out in the greenhouse, especially, normally by this time I'd be picking tomatoes because I'll be planting the tomatoes out again at the beginning of end of December, beginning of January.
Okay.
I have the heat and everything, and they'll be closed up to where I'll be able to get them started off early enough to where by March, April, we should be picking quite a few tomatoes out of the 2 greenhouses.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we can't have that here. We can't have 2 seasons here of tomatoes. I guess we could if we got like a different type of variety that would grow in like 50 days or something like that. But from like July on, I really have to be careful. Like I started my lettuce last year in August, but I had to start it in my basement because it gets so hot here.
Right.
But that was seriously my best crop last year. Is I had a ton of brassicas, and the fall is the best time to plant that kind of stuff, right? Because it goes into the cold.
Right. Living in Ohio, y'all basically have two fall plantings, basically.
Yeah.
the beginning and the end. You have two good brassica plantings, really, and one tomato and stuff like that. We only have the one. Some people do plant out a second crop after the winter time's over, but the lack of light we have, as it transitions to where we get enough light for the plants to grow and actually be worth it, the heat ends up kicking up to where the brassicas just go to, they go to seed so fast, it's not worth growing them.
Right.
So
yeah, they end up wasting more than anything. Yeah.
So what I ended up doing last year, I just planted a lot of broccoli, and the cabbage didn't do well, but the broccoli did great. We're gonna we had, I think it was 32 or 36 broccoli plants.
Nice.
We ended up with 25 gallons of broccoli this year out of it.
Nice. Did you freeze it?
Yeah, we flashed it and freeze. I actually have it all video. I just need to go through and edit it. When I do stuff like that, I try to edit it while I'm at work. And the last 4 months, we just haven't had time at work to get it done. But we did do a video on how we cut it and, blanched it and the whole process we did for it.
Yeah.
But next year, we're going to be looking at around 200 plants we're going to be putting in for the broccoli.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's where we have problems with brassicas. Either bugs get them or it's just they don't do anything. Like we grew broccoli and cauliflower last year and they just didn't do anything. And our cabbage did wonderful. It was beautiful. Next day you go out there, all the heads are eaten out of them from bugs.
From bugs?
Yeah.
We didn't have any bug pressure at all. We didn't spray one time last year on the broccoli. I waited a little bit later, and it could have cost us a few pounds off of it. But, if it's going to cost me, say, 2-3 gallons off of the 30 plants of actually making broccoli as opposed to spraying, even though we go with it's all organic, Nemo, BT, we try to keep it with that.
Yeah.
I would still rather not spray anything on it, not have to worry about it. Last year we set it and forget it. We didn't mess with it.
Nice.
We had 4 heads of cabbage out of the 16 we planted that did well. One of them was 13 pounds. It was ridiculous.
Wow. I'd love to grow broccoli like that. I love broccoli.
That was a cabbage that was 13 pounds, but the broccoli, the Pac-Man broccoli, the heads were huge, about 9 inches across.
Wow. That's awesome.
And it could be, finding the right type of broccoli for your area. The Pac-Man and the Green Magic, I think it is. They grow really well in this area. They're hybrids and they benefit from the area.
Yeah. Well, that's a good idea. I'm glad you said that. That's a good idea. We haven't experimented too much with other varieties of seeds. We just, we just start picking things that look cool. Like I have the purple broccoli and the purple cauliflower and stuff like that. But yeah, eventually we'll probably switch to maybe a hybrid or something like that because of that reason, because it's just not working out.
Farmers markets and stuff, the purple broccoli and, and stuff like that, and the cauliflower with the different colors is great to have. It's a showpiece. It stops people, but the production on them usually is not worth the space and the time to grow them. It still tastes the same. There's not much difference, but you can go to a local nursery that sells plants and, see what they're selling the most of, because most of the time they'll be selling the ideal plants for your area.
For the area. Yeah.
Even if they're hybrids and stuff like that. That's what I did. I still go and buy from the local nursery, even though we set up, we try to start as much of our own plants as possible. Usually for the brassicas and stuff, I just go over there because it's so much easier. It's like $1.50 for the 6 plants.
Nice.
Yeah. That's $1.25 for one tomato plant though. Yeah, we don't have any Amish. I know when I was up there, some of my friends would go to the Amish place and they'd pick up a flat with like 50 tomatoes in it for $15 or $12 and stuff. It was ridiculously cheap.
Yeah, we have Amish all around here, so yeah, that's something that they're good at it and they sell it for cheap.
They see everything they do. They seem to be good at it.
Yeah.
I watched them put up a barn, and one of the locations we were working at, and they were actually putting up a barn that it looked to be like probably 20,000 square foot, and the holes and stuff were dug when they started. And but like literally starting to put the wood frame and everything in 4 days, they had it done. You know, the tin and everything. It looked like ants. They were all over the top of it, and you know, everybody knew what they had to do. And it's like, bop, 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 just got it done.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Yeah, they're pretty good at barn raising, that's for sure. Yeah.
Root shoots. The purple cauliflower in Texas. It probably won't. What part of Texas? You're in northern Texas or along the coast? Because that's going to make a difference in it. You have a big difference in your growing area. If you're on the coast, it's probably too late right now to be planting cauliflower, broccoli, stuff like that. It should have been planted somewhere around the end of December. Like Houston area, I'm in the same growing zone as Houston, Dallas. I mean, if you started from seed, it's probably too late in Dallas area. If you're able to find some, if you could probably get it in a shaded area, you might be able to. Or if you bought it from, give it a shot. I mean, you might want to put it to where it's not in the afternoon sun. You know, you want to get it the right amount of sun, but you don't want the high heat sun with it. Like I was saying, I don't do any broccoli, cabbage, any type of brassica like that over here at this time of year. I start off with it around. If we start the seeds, we'll start the seeds in August and September, and we try to get them out in the middle of November. Try to put them out.
Chris is clever craft down here. He said, if you use a whole pack of seeded tomatoes, sell them at $15, you probably made 13 to 30, maybe even 45 if you get them from your own tomatoes. That's true. We plan on selling a lot of our tomatoes and stuff. I mean, we have trays and trays. We're not obviously putting all of them in the ground, though. Last year we did have 70 tomatoes that we did put in the ground. So I'm upping my ante this year because of Shed Wars too.
Me too. No, even before Shed Wars, once the root shoots and garden boots. If you have it in a pot, that's probably the best thing for you to do. If you're going to start getting up in the mid 80s in the afternoons, it might be something, if you have the opportunity, to move it under the shade into a cooler area. It's either going to grow it and make a head, or it's going to grow and go to seed. It's just I'm not real familiar with the Dallas area temperatures right now. But if you have it already, give it a shot. 2 or 3 gallon pot and let it grow, see what it does.
Yeah.
But if you can keep the heat off of it, that's the main thing. If you're going to start getting up into the high, basically 80 or above, you're going to want to watch that, because it's probably going to want to go to seed.
Chris's clever craft said, now you have to eat all that.
All that. Yeah.
I will be canning. Oh, dude, I still have tomatoes in my freezer from last year though, but I made sauce and oh my gosh, it was the best tomato sauce I ever made. I didn't even have to have any sugar in or anything in it. It was just like, I just put it in there, and this is Shed Wars. Y'all better up your aunties and your uncles.
It's amazing how the different flavors you have when you make it yourself and you from your own place. It's amazing how much different.
It was like the best tasting sauce I've ever had. Like the stuff from the store wouldn't even compare. Like it's just sugar, and they just put some tomatoes ketchup in there. That's what it seemed like.
Tina, I like of course, we do chili different than y'all do up there. Sheena's from up there, my wife. And I made a chili with fresh tomatoes and everything. She's like, I'm not eating that. It's sweet, and it's, it's not even red. I'm like, the red stuff you put in is food coloring from the store. The tomatoes, this is like red tomatoes. They were red when we started cooking them. It kind of turned a little orange while we were cooking it. But, oh, my God, it was good. And she's like, I'm not eating that. I'm like, I'll eat more.
Sounds like she's a lot like me. I'm the same way when it comes to stuff, and it takes me a while. Like it takes me a minute to eat stuff like that.
We call it difficile. You difficile is French for particular or stuff like that. So she's particular about it until she tries it, and then it's like, oh, this is pretty good. But she tried it, and she couldn't get over the texture and the sweetness. No matter how much seasoning and stuff you put in it, the tomatoes were still sweet.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter, we put 2 raised beds in the backyard last year, and she did okay with them. She really wasn't into it as much until she realized how good everything tasted. But by that time, the bugs had got it. This year, she's on track with it and everything. But she won't even buy tomatoes and cucumbers from the store anymore.
Yeah.
But she comes shopping at Daddy's now,
That's convenient.
Exactly, and I don't mind at all. It's extra for me to get to see her. They all got their own thing going on. The 21-year-old comes. She's in Baton Rouge going to school, and she comes home from school and she'll take 10 or 15 pounds of tomatoes with her back. Or I'll cook. She's like, "Hey, I'm coming in on this day. Put me some supper in the freezer." So I'll cook, and we'll bag up 5 or 6 different meals in the freezer, and she'll bring it back with her.
Aw.
The oldest one does that too. She's like, "Hey, I ain't got time to cook next week. When you're cooking for number 2," she said, "go ahead and bag me up some too." I like it. It's Early Bird Farm. What's up, brother? Got some chestnuts he started out there.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much I'm excited about the raised beds in the back. I was a little, I was very depressed when I came back from work and I seen the shape the plants were in. It made it look worse on the videos and the pictures because of the soil, all the pine and stuff on the top of it made the plants actually look more yellow in the pictures and the videos than what they were. But getting them on the fertilizer schedule the last week and a half seemed to really they've perked up and they're really doing good.
Now, well, that's okay. Since your plants went through that hard time, will they actually be stunted in their growth? Like that's what I worry about.
It could be. It could be
sprouts now.
Well, the Brussels sprouts, I've never grown them. I picked them up while I was at the store. They had a 6-pack for $2. I picked them up, thrown them in there. I thought it was a winter plant or a fall plant, and last year I seen people that grew them in the shade. Excuse me. And they did well with them in the shade, even with the heat. As long as they were in the shade, they didn't get burned. So I'm trying that this year, and my hope is as the Brussels sprouts grow, the tomatoes will be growing up on the side of them. I planted them between the row with the tomatoes, so the tomatoes will kind of shade them out. And hopefully it'll keep some of the heat off of them also. So, I mean, there's nothing really I could plant in the middle of the row. There's not a whole bunch of room. I need something that's going to grow vertically on its own without, I could put a stake or something, but I don't want anything like another cucumber or something like that that's going to take off. So we just went ahead and stuck it in the middle of the row. We're going to actually try to put some broccoli in the middle of the row next year to see how we're not going to count that in, the 200 we're looking to plant. We're just going to plant it in the middle of the row to see how it reacts with, the cucumbers and the tomatoes that we're planting on the trellises. So as they're growing, once they get up growing, it should help, mitigate some of the heat, like we're hoping the Brussels sprouts do. But it'll also give us something. The tomatoes will be leaning out, one way, and then the cucumbers will be growing up the trellis on the other side. Yeah. So, there's
we had a good thing with our okra. We grew some okra, and we put bok choy underneath it. And I had bok choy. I didn't even realize how hardy that stuff is. I had bok choy clear up and through December.
Really?
Yeah.
The bok choy, that's the white kind of.
It's like a little cabbage. It's like a Chinese leafy cabbage. Okay. And it's pretty hardy. I wasn't expecting it to do that, but it was amazing. And that was like, it seeded itself too, because we had a horrible time in the beginning. It got too hot for it and went to seed. And then once the seeds fell off of it, they came back up, and it was hardy. I was surprised. I really was.
Britton Farms Homestead says they started making smoked salsa last year. That's nothing short of amazing.
Yum. I love salsa. I love cilantro, man. Cilantro is the bomb. Like I have it right now out there. I didn't realize it liked cold weather as much as it does. It it came back up in my garden bed.
Really?
I got a bunch of that. I love to have cilantro and garlic all up in my salsa.
We don't grow a bunch of it around here. And I was talking to somebody the other day about, they were talking about all the herbs and everything they grow, and we don't grow it around here because it's just too easy we use seasonal and everything. It's because it's already pre-made. It's not expensive. It's the same flavor almost every time. Short of the slap your mama's, either it could be a little bit hotter or not.
Yeah.
But it's that's what we use when we cook everything. It's just so much easier.
Yeah.
So yeah, it works out really good, not having to take up space for it, and the heat. We had that Arctic front pass through. We were in the single digits with the wind chill for like 4 days, and then it turned around, and 3 days after that, we were up in the 70s.
Yeah.
Whatever would have made it would have straight went to seed.
Quebec Homestead says bok choy and kohlrabi always get eaten by flea beetles here. Yeah, the flea beetles are fine. You just have to. I use neem oil on them if I see too much, but you have to be careful too because here, it hasn't happened yet this year, which I'm very surprised. But usually in the springtime and stuff, it rains like you wouldn't believe, and usually my entire backyard is just flooded. My ducks have a wonderful time out there, but yeah, usually it's just it rains and rains and rains, and it doesn't matter how much neem oil you put on stuff; it just washes it right off. You can't keep up with it. So, but yeah, neem oil really works for that because I had flea beetles just gnawing on my ground cherries. Just there was holes all over the leaves, but I mean they still did great. They still had a crop. It's just you have to keep up on it right from the beginning with the neem oil.
We started last year with the neem oil. We do neem oil on one Sunday and then BT on the following Sunday, kind of a rotation, and it really worked well. We ended up having to spray the regular pesticide one time through the season. It was starting to get bad. We sprayed it, waited 2 days, basically washed it off with the hose, and then we went back on a rotation of spraying the neem oil and stuff, and we went the whole season with it like that, which is unusual for here.
Quebec Homa said you might want to try DE as well and sprinkle that around your plants. But once again, once it rains,
it washes away. You got to
go. It washes it away. So if it rains for 3 or 4 days, you have to. I mean, you just have to keep piling it on. It'll get messy.
You know anything about that? I know Mr. Robert was asking Quebec Biochar with it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I don't even know what that is. I can look it up and see.
She might answer. I was just seeing if you knew. They don't have neem oil there. Mr. CB told me to try cold pressed neem oil this year. He said it's and I ordered it. I have some. It's supposed to be better than just the regular neem oil. So I went ahead and got it to check it out. We didn't have a whole bunch of issues out in the pasture or out in the yard with it, but growing in the greenhouse, we end up with a lot more aphids and stuff in the greenhouse because of the conditions. They like it a lot better.
Biochar is basically a charcoal.
Right.
Interesting. I honestly have never heard of it, but they sell a lot of it, and they sell a bunch of it on Amazon. I don't know if you can. I don't know how it is in Canada, but you could probably buy cold press neem oil. That's what we have is cold pressed neem oil. You could buy it on Amazon. It is expensive, but a little bit goes a long way.
It's expensive to get the bottle, but it's not that expensive once you dilute it.
Yeah.
We ordered a couple other things. I plan on doing a list of it or video when we start. Kind of got some of it from Hoss Tools. They did a video, copper spray, and I don't remember exactly what all of it is, but we're gonna have 2 1 week and then 3 the next week. They're all interchangeable. They don't. It's all organic. So we're gonna be trying that. Try to keep as much bugs off as we can.
Yeah.
I got an old backpack sprayer I got from Harbor Freight, and a 5-gallon backpack sprayer, and it quit working. So we have an old pump that was on an old tank, a 25-gallon tank. The tank broke. So I'm hooking that up right now. Well, not right now, but I will be, to where I can put it on the back. I got a trigger switch for the battery. I'm gonna use a 12-volt battery from an old DeWalt drill. to where I can and run the pump to where I can spray it. I don't want to. I could just connect it to the pump where it turns off and on, but it pumps up to 50 pounds. So I want to be able to turn it off and on and see how that works out.
Homestead Aquarius, you just have to be really, really careful with DE. It does. It will kill everything. And you don't put it on during the day. You only put it on at night because you don't want to kill the bees. So it will kill everything. And yes, it is. It works like glass shard. It kills them like that. So you just have to be really, really careful with it. I'm very particular. Like I don't use it unless I absolutely necessarily have to. Like last year, I was overrun with cucumber bugs and squash beetles. And so I used it. I used it quite often. You would have saw me out in my garden at 9:30 at night trying to spray that stuff on, because if not, I mean, it totally killed my Kajari melons and stuff. They did. So I had to use it. I didn't have a choice. I don't want to use chemicals like that, so.
Have you tried those old time foggers that use the powder?
I bought one this year.
Have you tried it yet?
I haven't tried it yet.
I was wondering, because if that would work in there. We found one in the old barn and we used it on the chickens to sprinkle the DE on it, and it worked with the mites and stuff that the chickens had. And we had gnats, and we just went in there one night, covered our faces, and sprayed. That is amazing how that thing works.
Yeah. Yeah, DE is a natural dewormer. Quebec Homestead, yeah, you can use it for your horses, your dogs. You sprinkle a little bit on your dogs. So it just has to be food-based. Don't use like the kind that you buy at Lowe's. You could probably use something from like a Tractor Supply or something that's food grade. You have to use food grade for animals and stuff. But a dewormer, yeah. It works for dogs. Humans can even do it too. It helps with your digestional tract and all that stuff, like apple cider vinegar does. Yep. Well, I'm sorry. I hate to cut this short. I'm going to have to run. I got a 2-year-old in the other room that needs my assistance. But thank you seriously for having me up here. That was so cool. I love to talk about garden stuff.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. I like when somebody comes on with me. It's great to be able to talk with other people, because I know people
exactly
good by myself.
Well, I really appreciate you having me up here, and I love everybody in the chat. Thank you for interacting. It was wonderful. But yeah, I got to get going. But thank you again. You have a good one.
You too. We're gonna stay on there for a little bit longer. If anybody else wants to come up and visit, talk, whatever. If you talk about your stuff, tell us what you got going on. Anyone at all. We'll probably stay another 10, 15 minutes on here. Sounds like the rain quit, so I might be able to get back to work if it's not too wet. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you so much. Mr. Bill also. Yeah, we just go back. We got some new people in here. I was outside working on putting my cables up to hang the tomatoes from in my raised beds. We're going to be using tomato hooks or tomahawks for it. It started raining, so went ahead and came in here. We have 290 tomato plants in the raised beds. I think it ended up coming out to. They're a foot apart. We're going to be single stemming them just like we do the tomatoes in the greenhouse. And just to see how it works, it's going to be the first year. If it looks like it's too close together, we'll take out one plant between each one of them and continue on with it like that. The idea this year was to kind of plant close, see how it works. If we had to, remove plants to see how it works. We're using it's called a soil builder. It's basically pine fines, some pine chips, sand, and rice hulls mixed together that we're using. The plants started off, pretty rough in it. They didn't like it. It holds a lot more water than it seems. Excuse me. But we dried it out, and we're pretty much getting a fertilizer schedule set up with it. It seems to be working. The plants are perking up, and we're going to be using the same fertilizer that we use out in the greenhouse to fertilize it. So anybody has any questions, Quebec Homestead. Our last frost date was February 15th, I think it was, and the polar vortex hit on the 16th. We went to single digits. I hope y'all don't have no issues. a possible frost tomorrow is what we're looking at. I'm going to have to look into those, Mr. Brad. I've always used the master blend because I bought a lot of it to start with, and it's done me well, but I'm going to look into it to see how they work. The Greenway Biotech. I'll never remember it if I don't write it down. The greenhouse is doing really well right now. We're still at the 500 to 600 ppm mark on the plants, and they're somewhere between 16 to 21 inches. We're about to have to clip them for the second time. We picked up last year, Pop picked up a Tapner, or he brought the off-brand Tapner, and I got one this year. We're going to show that in the next video. I'm not gonna let him get cold, Mr. Robert. But yeah, we're gonna show how that works. It seems to work pretty cool. The green tomato tape that you can tie, it actually staples it, so it works out really good. Don't you need as many tomato clips for them to be climbing the strings? Yeah, so. The pump system. Oh, anyone that if you have a Harbor Freight near you, someone was talking about a drip system earlier. I think it was Cosmic Chariot. I'm not sure if he's still in here. I've actually been using some Harbor Freight drip line. I wanted to say that, and we kind of got off topic. I'm using the Harbor Freight drip line. It's our soaker hose. It's $8 for a 50-foot section of them, and they can be connected end to end. But what's cool with it is there's like a solid hose on the inside, and I guess they have multiple emitters that go through it. I want to take one apart at some point, but I don't want to break it and not be able to use it. And then there's a cloth piece on the outside, and it seems like the water pressures up and pushes through the cloth as opposed to soaking through the original hose. They come with 3 buttons that you could put in to regulate the amount of water that you're sending out. It seems to work really well. We've did some adjustments on it on the water system that we have now to where we're getting the same amount of water at the first bed as opposed to the last bed. And it really, the longevity of them is going to see, but for $8, I couldn't pass it up. We plan to use PVC pipe with the holes drilled in it at some point. It's just to get to that point. And I'm hoping that the Harbor Freight soaker hoses pushes through until we're able to get that, because it really seems it's holding up pretty good. It's been almost 4 weeks that we've had them in the raised beds, and they're doing well. Also looks like you can cut them and shorten them. It looks like the connections on the ends will come off and you can reconnect it. And it just looks like an all around pretty cool tool. A lot of the stuff at Harbor Freight used to be cheap. It seems like they're kind of upgrading now. So if you're looking for some soaker hoses and you got a Harbor Freight or you want to order some, try them out. They really seem to be working well right now. I guess that's about it. I guess I better get back to work too. Anyone have any questions? If not, I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. Thank y'all so much for coming by, spending some time with me. I really enjoyed it. Mr. Bill, Courtney, thank y'all. It's fun when we get a couple other people, even though we didn't stay talking about just strictly gardening. It turned out, an hour and 45 minutes is gone already. So thank you, Voon. Thank you. Yeah, I'm the greenhouse. I'm really enjoying the greenhouse. It's been a long time since I've been 2 years since I've grown in the greenhouse hydroponics. So, all right, y'all have a good one. So, South Louisiana, boy, you gotta love it. Y'all grow that later.